Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into our really mind-bending idea from the art world. Seriously, this is one of those ideas that could completely change how you see yourself and, well, everyone else around you.
So let's just jump right in with a question right there on the screen. Are you, right now, in this very moment, a work of art? Now, I'm not asking if you're an artist or a creator. I'm asking if you are the art itself. It sounds a little weird, right? Well, it turns out this idea has a really fascinating and honestly a pretty complex history.
And this is the quote that got this whole thing started. It's from the famous, and let's be honest, often very provocative German artist Joseph Beuys. And the story behind this quote? It's amazing. This wasn't some grand statement he wrote down in a manifesto. No, he said this live on an Austrian TV talk show back in 1983. Someone actually called in and asked why he wouldn't take off his signature hat while he was indoors. And instead of just giving a simple answer, he hits them with this bombshell.
So, right away, Beuys' words create a bit of a mystery. You see, he's super famous for the idea that every human is an artist. But what he said on that show, that goes a step further. It's actually a giant leap. So what on earth did he really mean?
Okay, this right here breaks down that huge difference. Saying everyone is an artist, well, that implies you have to do something, right? It's about the potential to create. But saying everyone is art, that suggests a state of being. You don't have to do a single thing. Your very existence has value. Beuys is basically suggesting that we're the masterpiece, not just the person holding the paintbrush.
Now, to get how radical this is, you gotta know about Beuys' main theory, his life's work, really. He called it social sculpture. The whole idea was that our thoughts, our words, every action we take, it all works to sculpt the society we live in. We are all artists working together to shape our world. But see, once again, that's about doing. That 1983 quote is all about just being.
All right, so let's just run with this idea for a minute. What if we take it seriously? What if every single person walking around is a priceless work of art? Well, the consequences are, wow, they're nothing short of revolutionary.
First off, the whole concept of a special building for art, a museum or a gallery, it just completely dissolves. If people are the art, then the gallery is simply wherever people happen to be. Your office, the grocery store, the bus. Suddenly, they all become exhibition halls.
And this has such a profound personal impact. All of a sudden, a simple walk down the street becomes a trip to the MoMA or the Louvre. You are literally surrounded by this constantly changing, infinitely complex collection of living sculptures. You don't need a ticket, you just need to open your eyes.
And here's where it gets really, really powerful. Think about it. If every single person you meet is a unique, irreplaceable work of art, how could you possibly treat them with anything less than the absolute highest respect? You wouldn't just go and throw a can of soup on the Mona Lisa, right? In this worldview, harming another person becomes an act of vandalism against a masterpiece. Respect isn't just a nice suggestion anymore, it becomes the only logical response.
Okay, so just as we're getting our heads around Beuys being the source of this incredible, world-changing idea, there's a twist in the story, because it turns out this revolutionary thought might not have been his to begin with.
Yeah, we have to ask the question, was he really the first? The history of art is a tangled web, and it turns out a few other artists were already playing around in this exact same sandbox, some of them years, even decades before him.
Whoa, look at this timeline. That first date there, 1961. That is a full 22 years before Beuys was on that TV show. An artist named Tim Ulrichs declared himself the first living artwork. That same year, Piero Manzoni was literally signing people and calling them living sculptures. Then you have Gilbert and George a decade later. So Beuys, while he might be the most famous person to say it, was actually kind of late to this specific party.
And this really makes Tim Ulrich the underappreciated hero of our story. While other artists were kind of flirting with the concept, he was the one who made it his central, defining statement as an artist, way before it became popular. He didn't just say it, he actually lived it, exhibiting his own body as the art.
So, we've walked through the idea, its consequences, and its surprising history. But what does any of this mean for you, like right now? How can we take this big, abstract concept and make it real in our own lives?
Well, we can call this idea private sculpture. It's the conscious decision to shape your own perception. The true artwork here isn't just your physical body, but your mind and the way you choose to see the world. A mind that's been shaped by the idea that everyone is art can't help but interact with the world in a totally different way.
So here's a really simple way to think about it. It just starts with making a conscious effort to truly see the person in front of you. Then, you actively look for the art in them, their uniqueness, their complexity, their story. And if you can do that, even for a second, that tiny shift in your own private thoughts, well, it will inevitably change how you act. And by doing that, you'll start to change your world.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Take this idea with you. The next time you walk out your front door, just try it. Try to see the world as a gallery and every person you pass as a masterpiece. And then ask yourself this one question. If you truly, deeply believed that everyone was art, what's one thing you would do differently tomorrow?